There is no circumstance under which the United States will allow international entries to trample on the rights of our citizens, including the right to self-defense. That is why this year I announced that we will never ratify the UN Arms Trade Treaty, which would threaten the liberties of law-abiding American citizens. The United States will always uphold our constitutional right to keep and bear arms. We will always uphold our Second Amendment. Liberty is only preserved, sovereignty is only secured, democracy is only sustained, greatness is only realized by the will and devotion of patriots.
He just said that political power goes out of the barrel of a gun, and so our people have the guns, unlike China. He literally talked about the spirit of 1776 there, and the true definition, it's not about duck hunting. I mean, Trump is really, really starting to find his second wind here.
InfoWars. The most banned network in the world.
Okay, Barnes, we're going to get into this impeachment and this active coup, and the Pelosi says they're taking them out no matter what. But I'm glad you got into the Second Amendment. I want to play this Trump clip in a moment from the UN. It seems like, and the listeners have been saying this, and I agree with them, they really got hysterical by that speech. It was like Pelosi knew she didn't have the votes before, but now she goes, it doesn't matter if this isn't true. It doesn't matter if he didn't do anything wrong. Now they're saying it's obstruction. Now they're saying it's witness intimidation, because Trump's saying, my God, I'm spied on all the time. And then people make up, I've done something wrong. This is insane. I mean, yeah, what about the president? Foreign leaders are saying we're scared to talk to him now. It'll all be released. It's not like anything's wrong, but doesn't the president deserve privacy? I mean, Congress isn't being listened to, and they're not giving out Pelosi's phone calls to the world.
Well, I mean, contrast it with what's happening to Julian Assange, who's being criminally prosecuted in part simply because he disclosed cables between lower-level officials. So how is it that that is a crime to disclose for a member of someone who's doing free press activities to disclose lower-level cables between diplomats, but somehow disclosing the president's own conversation with the president of another country concerning corruption, both within their country, within their...
And then misrepresenting what's in it.
Absolutely. They're fabricating it, force-feeding that to the public view. In other words, how is that somehow, like they're describing this person as a whistleblower. Well, this person is not a whistleblower as a matter of law. The law is that in order to be a whistleblower under the particular statutes applicable in this context, you have to have first-hand information. The Inspector General is a political hack of the intelligence community who should have rejected this so-called whistleblower complaint right away and said it was not legally a whistleblower complaint. It was a policy disagreement by a political hack who was trying to undermine the President of the United States and lying and disguising his criminal leaking as being somehow a whistleblower activity when by law it is not whistleblower.
And we're going to hit all that next hour and take calls, but it's just, I'm trying to wait till next hour, but it's just, how do you not get into it? It's just so crazy. And then the fake transcript that he read into the record, the Schiff, and then the fact that other news put out the fake transcript and then didn't even correct it later. It just shows that if you keep asking, where's the bottom? There is no bottom. So we've got to extrapolate and project, where is this going to go with Tinkerbell Schiff and Crazy Joe Scarborough and the rest of it. But speaking of the Second Amendment, as you were pointing out, it's not about protecting people from guns. They know that places where they take the guns are more dangerous. It's about demonizing the general public ahead of a collapse that they believe they're going to use to, in an authoritarian way, cut off resources and make us all capitulate to their leftist dream. Everybody that's looked at this agrees, who's smart, it's going to cause a super right-wing fascist takeover, and these leftists will wish for the days of Donald Trump. I don't want to go down that road either, but they are summoning hell itself.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, every, like 538, a very liberal data group, put some people on studying gun control. And what they found was that gun control doesn't work. And even though they continued to be leftist, came out and said the data does not support any gun control effort or endeavor. It makes the country less safe, not more, the more you take gun self-defense rights away from ordinary people. The same conclusion was reached by an editor of NPR who ended up writing a book about it, who said, you know what, everything I believed about gun control was a lie that my own liberal press had told me.
If you really care about people, then you arm the schools. You don't advertise their victim disarmament zones where loons go get attention. It's like, hey, you have an option. Kill yourself, have suicide by cop, or go to a school. It's like option A, B, or C, like the option of, hey, kids, you confused, you're autistic, chop your balls off. Kids weren't chopping their balls off till you made it an option.
And what's happening is you're seeing, for example, we have historical and contemporary examples of utilizing this mechanism of self-defense by allowing teachers the ability to self-defense in Israel, by allowing pilots the means of securing their cockpits so they don't have hostage taking.
You can trust them with the plane, but you can't trust them with a 357?
Yeah, exactly, which is insane. So we know the mechanisms by which self-defense occurs. So none of this has anything to do with self-defense. It's about taking away the power of self-defense and monopolizing.
And just like you have the lowest crime rate of any group, regardless of race, color, creed, with concealed carries, because you go take the class. You know it's a responsibility, and it's an office you're holding.
Yes.
And people automatically put that hat on and become even better people.
Absolutely. They become more observant. They become more careful. They become more cautious. The best gun users in the world are lawful gun owners. The most dangerous are illegal gun owners and the state. The state has unfortunately, every government over time has a longer history of mass murder than any private citizen has ever been able to achieve.
Like Trump said at the UN, 100 million people killed by commies.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's why Trump's speech was so extraordinary. And, of course, it triggered fear. The fact that he would do it on the floor of the United Nations right after he was committing to the president of Ukraine to meaningfully investigate deep state corruption, both in the United States and in Ukraine, was going to terrify the establishment press.
We're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to play Trump, one of the few clips I didn't get to. You know what makes me mad is that it really makes me upset. We should be celebrating that speech, and instead, all we're hearing is this impeachment. And I'm going to tell people again, they mean business. Okay, yeah, it hurt him in the polls. It doesn't matter. Why do they care if he's 7 points ahead of the Democrats before they impeach, and then after they try to impeach, he goes up 10, 15 points? They don't care. They know he's going to win. They have nothing to lose.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, they see it as all gain. And if they can shut down the Ukrainian investigation, they win. If they can shut down the U.S. investigation into Ukrainian collusion and corruption by Biden and the deep state, they win.
I think Giuliani and Trump ought to call a national press conference and ought to just come out or fireside chat and just dump everything, go on total offense. And again, we need the Justice Department to start indicting these people now. That will stop them. The only course is offense, total attack.
No doubt about it. Because if they do anything different, then the president is in serious trouble and America's in serious trouble.
Absolutely, folks. We're not taking it lying down anymore, and I know you're not taking it lying down anymore. Well,
there is no circumstance under which the United States will allow international entries to trample on the rights of our citizens, including the right to self-defense. That is why this year I announced that we will never ratify the UN Arms Trade Treaty, which would threaten the liberties of law-abiding American citizens. The United States will always uphold our constitutional right to keep and bear arms. We will always uphold our Second Amendment. The core rights and values America defends today were inscribed in America's founding documents. Our nation's founders understood that there will always be those who believe they are entitled to wield power and control over others. Tyranny advances under many names and many theories, but it always comes down to the desire for domination. It protects not the interests of many, but the privilege of few. Our founders gave us a system designed to restrain this dangerous impulse. They chose to entrust American power to those most invested in the fate of our nation, a proud and fiercely independent people. The true good of a nation can only be pursued by those who love it, by citizens who are rooted in its history, who are nourished by its culture, committed to its values, attached to its people, and who know that its future is theirs to build or theirs to lose. Patriots see a nation and its destiny in ways no one else can. Liberty is only preserved, sovereignty is only secured, democracy is only sustained, greatness is only realized by the will and devotion of patriots.
He just said that political power goes out of the barrel of a gun, and so our people have the guns, unlike China. He literally talked about the spirit of 1776 there, and the true definition, it's not about duck hunting. I mean, Trump is really, really starting to find his second wind here.
Yeah, the answer to China's Orwellian 1984 vision for the world is still America's spirit of 1776. And that's what the president made clear, and he made clear and articulated in detail and was willing to do it from the floor of the United Nations, no less, by saying that he would never broach any international intrusion, any international interference with the right of self-defense, which is the right way to call the Second Amendment. The language is the right to bear arms because it needed to be literal for legal purposes. But what the principle it is protecting is the right of self-defense, the right of self-defense against other criminals, the right of self-defense against the state when the state acts inappropriately or improperly.
The speech really was a tour de force. I'm tempted to come in Sunday and go on a few hours early. I might do it Saturday, but regardless, just to play the whole speech and then calmly go through it, because I watched it again 2 nights ago. It's 43 minutes long. It's just, it's pure Americana. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
most presidents hide from this. Trump is just flaunting it. I have a sneaking suspicion that Stephen Miller wrote the speech. I know Trump adds to the speeches.
That's Stephen Miller's language to a T. I know Stephen Miller, so that's all of that is Miller's language, Miller's template, Miller's text. Everything about it is Miller. It's a little bit of Trump editing at the patriots is a word Trump really likes. So there's certain words that are Trump's terminology.
Thank God for Stephen Miller.
Yeah.
And that's just an example of how we need people that just go to college, that are patriots, get involved in government. And then he's very unassuming. He knows to keep his head down.
Yeah, I mean,
and then he's literally like I hate to even talk about how important he is.
I mean, well, they've already tried to dox him repeatedly. Whenever they've tried to track where he lives, tried to release it to the public, tried to get Antifa involved. Antifa tried to dox it, put it as graffiti on bus stops.
They want to kill him.
Yep, just like they're doing to Tucker Carlson.
Just like they've done to Senator Paul, 6 ribs broken, punctured lung. The left all celebrates it. I'm not somebody that hungers after physical war, but if you little jackasses push too much longer, when this fight starts, you're going to be begging for mommy. We'll be right back. Bill Gates and his father, who ran Planned Parenthood, are right. We need to dumb down, sterilize, and abort as many people as we can. We need to put as much fluoride in the water of those that are born to dumb them down as much as possible so they're more easily managed. You see, I've decided to try to join Bill Gates and try to start thinking like him. Worldwide, he directed genetically engineered mosquitoes to bite us and give us diseases. But he said it was in the name of helping people. Just like he funded the projects of these, quote, sterilized male mosquitoes that would go out in Brazil and cause the other mosquito populations to implode, but now they mutated and the numbers exploded. And suddenly the mosquitoes are making people much sicker. Oh, it wasn't a mistake. None of it was.
Now, malaria is, of course, transmitted by mosquitoes. I brought some here. There's no reason only poor people should have the experience.
Let me tell you. Except 5G, 4G, 3G. It's killing us all. We deserve to die. And don't go to InfoWarsStore.com. Oh, no. Don't get high-quality fish oil or turmeric that fights inflammation. Don't get any of the great antioxidants we have. Don't get Ultimate Bone Broth that's selling out at 50% off. It's the last week to get it. Don't support organizations and institutions that are independent and fighting for a pro-human future. Roll over to Bill and Melinda Gates, the rightful rulers of this earth. Do not go to InfoWarsStore.com and support me. And do not spread the articles and videos. Just give up and submit. Give your children over to Billy Boy. Truth is, Satan's good. Yeah, that's right. All right, thanks for watching. And thank you, Bill Gates, for all you do. Thanks for those mosquitoes. Thanks for 5G. Thanks for the chemtrails.